Very good morning to each one of you. It's very nice to see all of you on time. Today we are going to learn JavaScript. Shantanu is going to show how to use JavaScript in HTML with Pawan's able support. So enjoy the learning.
Good morning everyone. Today I'm going to start JavaScript, and we've already discussed what JavaScript does in a website. So basically JavaScript is used, it's a scripting programming language that allows you to control what your website does. So all the complex features in any website, you can bet that JavaScript's going to be involved. And if you have anything interactive, if you have graphics or scrolling or jukeboxes, all of this requires JavaScript. So it's the third layer of the three technologies we've learned: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I have a CodePen example here to show you why we use JavaScript. Open this up. I hope you can see this website, and you can see the website on the bottom. You can see it says Airplanes, the Beginner's Guide, and then it tells us about airplanes. So this was made using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So once I start scrolling, you can see that this plane's moving like this. I hope you can see. This is some very fancy animations. If I keep scrolling, you can see this was a small example, but this was completely made using JavaScript. I hope this is visible. The entire movement of the plane, this is done using JavaScript. And for example, if I remove all the JavaScript and I try it again, now you can see it just says loading over here, and the plane's missing and everything's not working. So we need JavaScript to make this work. Once I bring the JavaScript back and I reload, you see the plane's back and then it's moving again. So all of this motion and all of this animation requires JavaScript. I'll share this link with you. You can check it out yourself. One second. You can go to this site and you can just check out the example yourself. And for those of you who just joined, I'm just talking about the importance of JavaScript. JavaScript is used in all modern websites, and we use it to make animations and really cool stuff. So for example, I hope you can see my screen. You can see this airplane's at the bottom. Once I start scrolling, you see this airplane's moving, and that's made using JavaScript. So all modern applications use JavaScript to change the HTML and CSS. So now we're going to be writing JavaScript. And today we're going to be writing JavaScript inside of our Chrome browser. And in 1 or 2 days, we're going to start writing it in files, and we're going to include it in our HTML and CSS. So today we're going to learn JavaScript alone without any HTML and CSS. And then in a few days, we're going to add HTML and CSS, and we're going to learn the three of them together. So the first thing you need to know is that JavaScript there are some primitive types in JavaScript. It's pretty similar to Java. I'm sure lots of you have already learned about Java. So the basic building blocks in JavaScript are number, string, boolean, null, and undefined. We're going to learn about all of them. So I want all of you to open up Chrome like this. This is my Chrome window. Open up a new tab and press Ctrl-Shift-I. Has everyone done that for me? Everyone opened up the inspect element? And you can see on the right hand side there's a button called console. So I want you to click on that. And over here we're going to write up our JavaScript, okay? So for example, I'm going to write some JavaScript. Suppose I write 5 plus 5 and I press enter. You can see it says 10. So right here I'm writing JavaScript. If I write 55,555 times 12, I get this answer over here. And what this is known, this process is known as REPL, R-E-P-L. Okay? It stands for read, evaluate, print, and loop. So basically, what we type, it's being read by the Chrome, and then it's going to evaluate what we typed, and then it's going to print out a reply, and then we're going to keep looping this, so it happens forever. So if I type anything here, if I type hello, for example, I type a string hello, it prints hello back to me. And if I type a math operation like 12 divided by 4, it prints out 3. So as you can see, we're writing JavaScript inside of our console right here. All of this is JavaScript. Now we're going to learn about the basic primitive types in JavaScript. First type is number. So I'm sure you're aware, in Java we have lots of types in numbers as well. Like we have float, string, like float, double, int, and short, char, byte, all that. But in JavaScript we only have one type. And you can see that all types of numbers are stored in this one type. So for example, 57, and then float, and then minus, negative numbers, integers, everything is stored in this one type. So this is a primitive type. If I write 12.000, this is also a number. And if I just write normal 12, this is also a number. They're both the same type. So it's very important to know that in JavaScript you only have one number type. Okay? This is very important. Please take a look at it. So next we're going to be learning about math operations in JavaScript. So in JavaScript you can do all kinds of math, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus. I'm sure you've learned in Java modulus. Basically, if I write 16 modulus 3, I get 1. Because if you divide 16 by 3, you get remainder as 1. So modulus tells you the remainder, and we use a percentage sign. Same way if I write 16 plus 3, I get 19 over here. So all of this is done using JavaScript. I can do subtraction as well. 150 minus 15 gives me 135. I can do division as well. 150 divided by 10 gives me 15. So you can see I'm doing JavaScript inside of my terminal, inside of my console here on Chrome. So we can do all kinds of math using JavaScript. Next thing you should know is about variables. And variables, we've learned this in Java as well. We can write something and we can give it a name and we can store a value to it. So for example, inside of my console, I'm going to declare a variable. Suppose I write let apples equals 5. Okay, this is the syntax for making a variable. I'll show it to you later. And then it says undefined here, right? But then if I type apples, you see it shows 5. So now we can see that this variable apples has a value of 5. So in JavaScript, that's how we give the value to variables. If I write let hens equals 4 and I type hens, I get 4. And suppose I type hens minus, let hens equal 4, hens minus 2, and then you see it prints out 2. So basically it's able to find the value. It says 4 minus 2 equals 2. So this is variables in JavaScript. These are very important. Basic syntax for a variable is let some name equal to value. Okay? So we'll try it out now. I want you to go to your console. I want you to type a variable name like let dogs equals 3. So now we have a variable called dogs inside of this console. And if I type dogs, I get the value of 3. So I want all of you to go to your console and try it out. Perfect, one person's done with it. Everyone just understand this concept. I write let cats equal 4. And then if I write cats plus dogs, I get 7. So you can see this is much simpler than Java, and the syntax is very easy to understand. I want you to try it out once. Perfect. So I've seen a lot of people do it, and it's very simple. I hope you understand the grasp of this. It's very good that you're learning so quickly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Oh, one person has raised their hand.
Yes, where do we type all the things which are coming?
Okay, so basically we're typing JavaScript inside of the Chrome browser. Okay, so I'm just showing you an example of JavaScript. So JavaScript you can type 2 places, inside the Chrome browser and on your VS Code. So today we're going to type in our Chrome browser, and this is how JavaScript works. So I'm just showing you the basic syntax of JavaScript. Like if I want a variable in JavaScript for programs, I can just use let and then variable name, if I type roosters equals 7. So this is basic declaration in JavaScript. Like even in Java we've learned about declaring variables and initializing variables. This alone is declaration. And if I write roosters equals 7, this is initialization. So it's pretty similar to Java. I hope you can see this. What I'm doing is I'm doing them both in the same step. So this is declaration and initialization in the same step. And if I type cars, I can see that the value is 1. So this is being saved. And you can see that this, so suppose for example, I give hens the value of 4, and I write hens minus 1. It's going to print out 3. But the value of hens doesn't change. So this is just a simple variable concept. If I write let dogs equals 7, and then I write dogs minus 5, it prints out 2, right? But the value of dogs hasn't changed because we didn't change it. Dogs will still have the value of 7. It's a simple concept. If we want to change the value of dogs, then we have to reassign the value. If I write dogs equals dogs minus 5. Now if I print dogs out, you can see it says 2. It's 2 right now. Value of dogs. Yep, it's somewhat like Python, you're right. It's pretty simple syntax, and it has English letters. It's way easier than Java as well. So now we're going to be learning about a different type of variable declaration called const, okay? So, it goes line by line. JavaScript goes line by line. So const is pretty similar to let, except you can't change the value. So suppose I go to my browser, and I write const chickens equals 6, okay? Now if I print out chickens, it says 6 here, right? 1 second, I'll just see your doubt. That's a good question. I'll just check it out right now, because this should work. Maybe there's a spelling. Oh yeah, there's a spelling mistake. As you can see, this is a great doubt that Sasank asked. So if you can look at his image, he spelled Lamborghini without an H in the starting, and then after that there was an H. So that's why the browser is not able to understand. So suppose I reload this. I write cars, let cars equals 5, and then by mistake if I write car, if I just write car like this, you can see it says a reference error. It says car is not defined, but I actually defined cars, so C-A-R-S, and you can see that's 5. So you have to be very careful. No, it's not about the semicolon, Madhav. Over here, semicolons are optional. If I write let trucks equals 6 without a semicolon, you can see there's no semicolon here. I press enter, and I write trucks again, T-R-U-C-K-S. It says 6. So JavaScript's very smart. It's able to figure out that I missed the semicolon, so it automatically adds it for me, okay? And even in VS Code, you're going to notice that you don't need semicolons. Only in some old editors, you need semicolons. But JavaScript is very intelligent that way. And the difference between Java and JavaScript is actually they're two separate languages, totally different. You can search it as well, Java versus JavaScript. And JavaScript is an object-oriented programming language, whereas JavaScript is an object-oriented programming script, and there's lots of differences here you can check. Like one is for Android development, one's for web development. If you want to make websites, you use JavaScript. If you want to make apps, you use Java. And you can see that you can read about it if you're ever curious. So we're going to continue on. Yeah, I was teaching you about const. So look at this called const. We're going to learn about it now. So if I say const hens equals 4, okay? I'll try the same example. Const hens equals 4. Now if I print out hens, you can see it prints out 4, right? But if I write hens minus 3, it prints out 1. So it's pretty similar to let. You can see that this is also storing the value. But if I write hens equals hence -1, I get an error. I hope you can see this. It says assignment to constant variable. If I write hence equals 3, I get an error again because I cannot reassign the value. So once I give the value, I cannot change it. It's constant. It's there forever. Const is a type of declaration. Yes, that's correct, Madhav. It doesn't let the value change. It's similar to let, but you can't change the value. No, there's differences between const and let. So if I search here const versus let JavaScript, you can see that the differences is the identifier won't be reassigned. So the variable, the value cannot change. So once you type something, like if I type const cars equals 5, it's going to be 5 forever. I can't change it. I can't change the value. If I write cars equals 3, it says an error. It's not going to let me change it. It's always going to be 5. I hope you can see this. This is very important. Cars will always be 5. I cannot change the value. You can see it's not letting me change it. But if I use let, what happens if you try to change it? You can see that this error pops up. It says assignment to constant value. There's an error. So if I Google what happens if I try to change a const value in JavaScript, yeah, you can see the value cannot be changed and the constant cannot be redeclared. It will be useless to do so. It's going to be an error. It's going to give you errors. So do not do that. Const cannot be changed. You cannot change the value. This is very important. What happens if you try to mark something as const then change it? You can see it's going to read in a compilation error. Assignment of read-only variable. That's what we're getting. Assignment to constant variable. Same thing. I hope this is clear. It's very important. We should know the difference between const and let. And then you're going to ask, what's the advantage of using const? So why would we use const? So suppose you have something very important to use, like pi or days in a week, that you know for sure it's not going to change. Then you can start using const. So if I know for a fact that it's not going to change, I can just use const instead of let. And the advantage for that is, if I write something else down the line, if I accidentally assign it something, it's not going to change. So during programming, it's very important to know when to use const, when to use let. But right now we're going to mainly use let. Later on we're going to see where const makes sense. So I hope that's clear. That's how you assign variables. And now the next type of data type of JavaScript we're going to learn is about booleans. Okay, I'll just revise 1 second. These are the primitive types of JavaScript: number, string, boolean, null, and undefined. We're going to learn these 5. So we're going to continue with boolean, and it's the same as in Java. I'm sure you've already learned in Java. So booleans can only have 2 values, true or false. And this is the syntax for giving the value in a boolean. So suppose I write let dog equals true. Okay, so dog is a boolean now. If I type dog, it's going to say true, as you can see here. And if I write let cat equals false, cat is also a boolean. It can only have 2 values. And there's this in JavaScript. In Java we've learned as well the not operator. So the not operator reverses the value. I'm sure you've heard of it. So if I have a false, I make it true. So if I write exclamation cat, I can see it becomes true, because exclamation of false. So we know that exclamation false means true. If I write exclamation false, it's true. So basically exclamation means not. It's the same thing in JavaScript as well. There's pretty similar languages. If I write exclamation true, it becomes false. So I hope this is clear. Booleans. And one important thing I want to show you is that in JavaScript, a number, like a variable, can change its types. So if I go, I reload, I write let cats equals 6. So right now, what's the data type for this variable, cats? What's the data type for cats? Can someone type in the chat? Number. Perfect. All of you are right. It's a number. It's number data type. Perfect. You're right. So it's a number data type. Now what if I do? What if I write cats equals false? You can see that now it's changed to false. Now what's the data type for cats? Boolean, correct, Boolean. As you can see that there's no errors popping up. And if I write cats equals hello world, it's a string. We're going to cover this. Now you can see the cats is a string. If I print out cats, you can see it's a string. So in JavaScript, variables can change their types. So this is a very cool feature of JavaScript, is that the variables can change their types. And that's why we should be careful when we're reassigning stuff. We don't want them to change their types. So if I write cats equals 1, 2, 3, and then I write cats plus 1, for example, I get 1, 2, 4. But if I accidentally write cats equals 1, 2, 3 as a string, and then I write cats plus 1, you can see that there's two different answers here. For the first one, cats was a number, so we write number plus 1 gives you 124. It's also a number. But second one, cats is a string. So if you write this string plus 1, we get 1, 2, 3, 1. You can see 1, 2, 3 string plus 1. A number. String plus number gives you this, another string. And we're going to cover this soon. It's called string concatenation. It's the same thing in, I think it's there in Java as well. I'm not sure, but we're going to cover this soon. This is a very important feature of JavaScript. So next type, we're going to learn about strings. It's the same syntax. Let variable name equals double quotation marks. So if I write, I'm going to reload. And once I reload, all my data is gone. So if I write cats, it's gone, because we're writing in the browser. If I write let cats equal 4, I write cats, it's working. But if I reload, now the data is gone. Now it's giving me error. That's saying it's not defined. So this is very important for you to know. Once you reload, this data is gone. Even for const, if I write const dogs equals 6, and I print out dogs, but if I reload, I type dogs again, it's gone. See, it's undefined. So anyways, we're going to continue on. Next, we're going to learn about strings, how to assign variables a value of string. I'm going to reload. I'm going to write let name equal Shantanu. Okay, so this is a string. If I print the name out, you can see it says Shantanu to me if I type name. So this is being stored as a string. And one more thing I can do is I can use single quotes as well. So it's not compulsory for you to use double quotes. If I write let last name equal, this is my last name, Agrawal, I'll use single quotes, sorry. Single quotes here. I hope you can see this. It still works. If I write last name, it's storing this name. And I can change it as well. It's changed. I print out last name again. It's being printed out. So what if you don't use quotes? That's perfect. So you have two of them have the same value. That's a good idea. And Sarvesh, why does it show undefined after you make a variable? So I'll just explain that right now. So basically, once I assign this, it's just a feature of JavaScript to return undefined because it doesn't know what to do. So when we learned about JavaScript, if I write something here, it always has to return an output, right? If I write 15 plus 5, it has to return something. But if I write let age, if I write this, it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what to tell me. So all it says is undefined. Okay, I've saved this, and I don't know what to say, so I'll just say undefined. But if I write age again, then it starts working. So now it knows what I'm asking for. So I hope this clears it out. Now I'm gonna show you guys what happens if I don't use quotes. So if I reload, I write let name equal Shantanu here. You can see it's an error. It thinks that Shantanu is a variable, and that's why it's showing variable. It's showing a problem. And Akshant, so the reason I showed using double quotes and single quotes is I want to show you can use both while declaring variables. You can use both of them. It's your personal choice. So usually I use double quotes. I always use double quotes just to, like, it's my personal preference. I like double quotes, but single quotes works as well. And one more important thing you should know is that you should use one thing. Like if I write like this, and I use a double quote in the starting and a single quote in the end, you can see over here, double quote at the starting, single quote at the end, it's going to show an error. It's going to show an unexpected token. So you should use the same thing. If I write using the same thing, then it works. Using the same, either double quotes or single quotes. Now it's working. I hope this is clear. So this does not work. If you use double quotes in the starting and then single quotes in the end, it does not work. So please be consistent when you're coding. Use either double quotes or single quotes. Don't mix it up. If I write now, can you tell me what's going to happen if I press enter? Just look at this code over here. If I press enter, can you tell me what happens? It won't work. Yes, perfect. You're right. All of you are right. It's not going to work, and it's going to show that there's an invalid or unexpected token. But for example, suppose I want to show that one person said something in their speech. Like in English, we say, he said, I am tired. So if you want this to be a sentence, what we can do is we can wrap it and use the other code to wrap it. Like if I write, let speech equal this. Now what do you think is going to happen? So one person says error, okay. Two people say error, one person says it will work. Okay, I'll just wait. Okay. So it seems divided. Some people are saying error, some people are saying works. And the people who said works are correct. So I want you to carefully look at this. First I'll show you that it works. It's working. And why is that happening? So basically you can see that we started the string with the single quote, right? And then we ended the string with a single quote. So everything inside of this is going to be a string. So it doesn't matter what I type. Everything inside of here is going to be a string. So you can see this is working. As you used both same quotes. That's correct, Shashank, correct? And we can reverse it as well. I can start it with a double quote, he said, single quote, I am tired, single quote close, double quote close. I press enter, I type speech 2, and it works again. So I hope you can see this. Very important, that's a great doubt. And just be careful. But if I write, he said, single quote, I am tired, single quote, stopping it, like I mess it up like this, then it's not going to work. You can see I use single quote here, double quote here, and then another double quote. So now it's saying unexpected token, this white thing. So just be careful. Whenever you're using, just start it with the same thing, end it with the same thing. Here. This will work, but this won't work. Because I'm using different things. I'm using different... one doubt. Yes?
What would happen if you started with a single quote, then you put a double quote, and then you put a close quote with the single quote, and then you use the double quote?
Okay, that's a good question. So I'll try it out right now. So started with a single quote here, and then I write hello world inside of a double quote, as you said, and then I close it with a single quote. So now you can see if I do this, nothing happens, right? There's no errors. But if I do the same thing and I add a double quote after that, you can see first of all this double quote's white, so it's not recognized. Like what do you call it? Chrome is not able to recognize this white thing. So if I type enter, you can see it says invalid token. So what I can do is I can put another double quote before this, and now you can see what's happening. You see this orange stuff? This is a string. Look at this. There's a double quote and then another double quote. So the string ends here. And then I typed hello world. You can see this hello world, this entire thing's white. So JavaScript's not recognizing this as a string. And then I typed double quote again, like this, you see? This is also a string. So these two are strings. and then this in the middle is not a string, so it's going to show me an error. What if you start with double quote and then use single quote and end double quote and then don't use single quote? Okay, so I'll show you that as well, and then I'll answer your doubt as well, Siddharth. So 1 second, I use double quote, I write hello, double quote, single quote, and then ending the double quote over here, you can see. And now you see that it's not going to be an error. So you're right, Madhav, there's not going to be any errors. I type this, there's no errors. So this is very important for you to know. I hope this is clear. And you can always test it out in your own console. Like, you guys have amazing doubts, and you can always test it out in your console. That's very important to do. And is there any way by which you can not display codes in the result? Yeah, we can do that, and we'll learn about that in the future, like in future classes. And yeah, so that's basically it for strings. But you never ended the single quote. That doesn't matter, see, because I already have a double quote here and a double quote here. So that's why it's thinking that this entire thing inside is a string. And if you're ever confused, you can always try it out in this console. All I have to do is I have to type Control-Shift-I, and then it's going to open up this page. This is the elements page, okay? On the right it says console. I click on this and then it starts working. I can type my stuff here. If I write this, it's going to say this is not defined because it's undefined. But if I type it in strings, then it starts working. So always be careful. And if I want variables, I can do it like this using let keyword. 1 second, sorry. Let keyword. This one worked. First one was undefined because I only wrote CRIC. I hope this is clear. If you have any doubts, please ask. So no doubts, okay. One more important thing to know is that strings are indexed. It's the same thing as in Java. You know, like suppose this word chicken. So each of these letters has an index. So if I find the value of k, it has an index of 4 because we start from 0, same as in Java. You all have learned, I'm sure, in Java. It's the same thing here. Strings are indexed. If you start the word or sentence with 1 or 2 quotes and it ended with only one of them, it will not show error, right? Actually, I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you can type an example in the chat, that'll be nice. Right now, I don't understand this part. So you can just type the example in the chat, and I can copy paste in the console. Thank you. So I'll just show you how we can use. Next we're going to learn about string methods. It's the same as in Java. We've learned about a lot of methods. So some of them, like casing. So if I write let equals hello like this, so now if I find message, it's hello, it's a string. If I write msg dot to uppercase, you can see that first of all Chrome is automatically completing for me. I write to uppercase and I put 2 brackets in front of it. You can see it's printed in uppercase. So I want you to try this out right now. Dot to uppercase makes text uppercase. And you don't need variables to do this. If I type it something here like test 1 2 3, and I write dot to uppercase in front of it, and make sure you have the capitalization is correct. If I type enter, you can see it's capitalized. Test 1 2 3. It's fully caps. I'll copy this example. Let string equal. Sorry, it's not copying for me. I think it should work now. 1 second. Yeah. So if I do this is gonna work because it's opening with the double quote, it's closing with the double quote, so everything inside of it is working. So if I type text, you can see it's working. So there's no errors. Yep, it's working, no errors. So we're gonna continue on. I told you about uppercase, same way lowercase. So uppercase UNC is capital, lowercase L and C is capital. And the value is unchanged. So if I write text, no, if I write message before we type with message is unchanged. But if I write message dot to uppercase, you can see the value changes. It becomes capital. And this is just a browser specific thing, Siddharth. It's not related to JavaScript. Only because of Chrome is happening. So we continue on. Next is trim. So we take a string, and this trim removes all the white space. If I have a string like let message2 equal, I have a lot of space here, and I have some stuff here like Dakota. This is a state in US, so I just do this. So now if I type message2, you can see that there's a lot of space here, right? But if we don't want this space, we can write message2 dot trim with two empty brackets like this, and you can see that it clears. Oh, someone has a doubt? Yes. You can unmute yourself, Sarvesh.
Why do we use the brackets after the dot to operator?
Yeah, so basically that's just the syntax for a method, and even in Java, if you've seen, we use brackets after the method. So basically what we're doing is we're calling some piece of code. So what I'm doing is when I write dot to uppercase like this, right, I'm referencing a function. We're gonna learn this soon in a few days. So now it's capitalizing. What this is? This is code. So basically what's happening is I have a string here, and then I write stuff here, like I write dot to uppercase, and then this runs something for me. This runs a code for me, and we're gonna learn how to do that. This is called a function. Function in JavaScript. I can just show you. We call it a method as well. It's called a method or function. So you can see a JavaScript function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task, and it's executed when something invokes it. One more doubt. You can unmute yourself, Sid. Okay, I think he doesn't have a doubt. Anyway, this is also known as a method. You can see that it's the same thing. Anyway, we continue on. So next thing we're going to learn about is arguments. So some functions, they have arguments that change their behavior, okay? And we write this inside of the parentheses. So for example, I'm just going to show you one example because we're running out of time. First one is index of. Like, remember I showed you that every string has an index, right? Yeah, if I write chicken, no, if I write school, for example, suppose this is a string. Now if I write school dot index of, you can see it's auto completing for me. Anyways, I'm gonna write inside of this. First we need to know what the argument is. Inside of this I need to have a string argument, okay? And you'll learn this as you progress. You'll just start memorizing stuff. But if I write school.index of and I write L, you can see it shows 5 here. So in strings we have indices. We start from 0. So S is 0, C is 1, H is 2, O is 3, the second O is 4, and then L is 5. So what this does is this tells us the index of the text. And instead of L, if I write OO, yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Didn't see that. I was gonna ask, what if you type three single quotes, and then you write a string, and then you only use 2 double quotes to end it?
So I type 3 single quotes. I write string hello, and then I use 2 double quotes. You can see. This says invalid unexpected token. It's not able to see that this is ending.
No, not 2 double quotes, 2 single quotes.
2 single quotes. So you can see this white thing is, again, it's showing invalid. It's not able to understand. There's this extra double quote here, this extra single quote here. It says unexpected. So that's what's happening. You can just see in the on the browser as well. You can run your code if you have any doubts. What if you write O in the bracket for index of? Oh, without the string, right? Yeah, let's try that. Without the string, if I just write O, you see it's not going to work. Without the string, I'm writing O, it's not working. It needs a string input. It needs a string input. If I write single quote, double quote, doesn't matter, but it has to be a string. I hope this is clear. How to convert uppercase to lowercase? You just have text. This is text, uppercase text. I write dot to lowercase, like this. Text dot to lowercase, nothing in the brackets. You can see it's text now. Perfect. You're right, Daria. You're right. We're gonna continue on. So I showed you index of, and I want you as homework to search for these methods. Search for this. Search for this. Okay. And if you do search for this, just message in the WhatsApp group what these two methods do. What do these two methods do in JavaScript? Send answer if you find it. Send answer in WhatsApp group. So whoever does it, that'll be great. And if you want to practice, if you want to learn, you can just search for these two methods yourself and you can learn what they do. Okay? We're going to continue on. Wait, someone has a doubt. Sid, you have a doubt? Hello? Sid?
Sorry, no, I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Oh, and perfect. Madhav already saw an answer. Sarvesh, that's actually wrong. You'll have to just check. Only in this example, this is what's happening, but for the other, it's what Madhav said. Madhav's correct. I can show you the answers in the group. I'll send in the group as well. And next thing I'm going to show you, very brief, is string concatenation. So when you add two strings together, like if I reload here, for example, I write hello string plus world. Over here, string plus string, I get hello world. It's the same thing in Java. If you've covered this, you'll know this already. This is known as string concatenation. So I'm adding these two strings using a plus sign. And something interesting, if I write hello plus 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 is a number. You can see this clearly. This is a different color as well. It's green color compared to the string. String is orange. I get hello 1, 2, 3. So this is very important. Now it's a string. You can see that's enclosed in single quotes. If I write hello plus false. False is a boolean. I hope like I've told you already, false is also green. Is a different color compared to the hello. I press enter, I get hello false. So this is very important. It's known as string concatenation. You can always Google it. String concatenation JavaScript. First result, and you can see that there's lots of ways to do it. There's actually 3 ways to do it. I only showed you one. If you're interested, you can learn the other 2 as well. Over here. Actually, I'll just share this website with you if you're interested. It's a random website. I just opened it. The first link I saw. So we're going to continue on. So now I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? Let's see who's able to answer them. Wait, I think someone has an error. Text.to uppercase. You see that the text you've said is not in single quotes. Like it's not in a string. So it looks like a variable. If I write text.to uppercase, it's going to show an error to me. You can see here. It's saying text is not defined. But if I write let text equal something, if I write hello here, and then I do the same thing, text.to uppercase, you can see it works. Oh, wait, sorry. Let text equal, this is lowercase, and I do text.uppercase, you can see it's uppercase now. So I hope this is clear. Yep. Perfect. So we continue on. Yeah. First question is, what is the value of cleaned input? You can go to your console and you can try this out. What do you think is going to happen? And this is the second question. What happens if I do this? You can go to your console. In fact, we didn't even cover these, so I'll just show you. In the console, if I try, let user input equals space thought@gmail.com. So I go, I write let user input equals space thought@gmail.com. This is what they asked. And I write user input dot trim dot lowercase, 2 lowercase. So I write user input dot trim dot 2 lowercase. You can see it prints out this thought@gmail.com without any spaces, and everything's lowercase. So if you understood that, that's great. You can test it out yourself. And second one we're gonna see garbage.slice 2.replace b and then quote, single quote. So if I write garbage.slice 2.replace b with a space, you can see it just says rage. So what's happening is, you can first see what slice is doing. Slice is taking part of the text from the index we mentioned, and this was already sent in the chat by someone. You can also Google it. Google what slice does. Slice JavaScript, right? The first link, you can read about it. For the sake of time, I'm not going to show you, but information is given here. Just search for it, and then it says .replace. I can search what replace does. Replace in JavaScript. See, string.product.replace. Same website, MDN. Remember on the first day I showed you? It's the same website. I find so many answers here. I can see replace as well. What happens if something is lowercase and you do 2 lowercase? You can try it out, Shashank, inside of the console. And you can tell me what you see. So we're going to continue on. These are the answers. Next is string template literals. I don't think we have time for this. And last is null and undefined, like the types of data types basically. So basically null is the intentional absence of any value, and it has to be assigned. Versus undefined is that variables that don't have an assigned value. So suppose I go, I reload, I write let cats, okay? I don't give it a value. So if I type cats out, it says undefined, right? You can see this clearly. It doesn't have a value, it's undefined. But if I write cats equals null without any string or anything, it's just type null. And now if I type cats, it says null. So if I search null versus undefined, JavaScript, you can see that there's so many websites, they tell me, explain everything, the difference between null and undefined. So you can Google it yourself, you can check it out. Null and undefined, very important. Examples. And there's one thing called the math object. So basically if you go to your console, if you type math with a capital M, math dot, and then you can see so much text pops up over here. All of this, you see all of this? All of these are functions. Functions are just code that is executed when we call it. If you've covered it in Java, you'll know it, and we're gonna learn it soon in 2 or 3 days. What functions are? Suppose I write math.py. I press enter. You can see it prints this out. 3.1415926535. This. You forgot the brackets, Shashank, and you didn't use the correct punctuation. It's lowercase with a capital L and a capital W. You can see it's like this. You have to use this one. It's gonna do like this, like a dot with the dot. I forgot the dot. So that's how it works. And we're gonna continue on. This is the math object. You can test it out yourself. If I go, I reload, I write math dot, and then I write abs. Abs stands for absolute. If I write, and you can see this is fx here. It's expecting a function. It's expecting an argument. So I write minus 5. It prints out 5. So you can just Google it. I search math object in JavaScript. You can see the first result. Look at this. You can read it yourself. Math.square root of 2. That's a good question. Let's try it. This is the website. This is the link. Now you're saying math.square root, right? I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's see what happens. Math.sqrt. Yeah, sqrt. Function open 2. You can see it prints out the square root of 2. So that's how it works. And if I like, suppose you have this question, right? Like this came into your head automatically. What we can do is we can write on Google how to find square root of 2 in JavaScript. As you can see right over here, first result, to find the square root of a number in JavaScript, you can use the math.sqrt method. And if I want to learn how to use it, I can write how to use math.sqrt in JavaScript, and you can see that they've explained it, everything here, all of these websites. So it's very important for you to learn yourself and debug yourself. So that's what web development is all about. It's not about memorizing, it's about problem solving. I sent it in the WhatsApp as well. So anyways, we're done with what I wanted to cover, and now I'm going to do a quiz as well. Since many people have to leave at 12, we're going to start with a quiz immediately. I go to quizzes, I'm going to start it. I want everyone to join this quiz. It's going to be a JavaScript only quiz. So I want everyone to join. Use this code. Shashank, I don't know what you're talking about. You have to send a picture to me. Use this code to join the quiz. One person's already in, perfect. I want everyone to join as fast as possible so we can do it. And I'll give you some ground rules for the quiz right now. First rule is that 1 second, I'll just type it out and then I'll send it immediately. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna change the quiz for a bit, just make it easier. I'll give you all more time, just 1 second. Yep, done. And now I'm gonna start it again. Sorry for the disturbance. Everyone just look at my screen again. Yeah, so we're gonna start the quiz again. There's gonna be a different quiz. I ended the first one. It's the same questions though, so please use this code. This is a new quiz. Please join this quiz instead. You can exit the previous quiz. This is the real one we're gonna use. And what I've done is I've given you all 45 seconds for each question. So what I want you to do is I want you to spend at least 15 seconds before you answer. Okay? This is very important. So suppose I have a question here. It says how many types of numbers are there in JavaScript, okay? For example, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the question and then I want you to search for the answer on Google, okay? I want you to spend 15 or 20 seconds searching for the answer. And if you're unable to find one, then, or if you know the answer after that, if it's the same answer, then you press enter. So please, I want you to search for the answer for this quiz. This is an open book exam, and your goal should be getting around 80%. 75 to 80%. I hope this is clear. I hope these instructions are clear. You have 45 seconds for each question. And you didn't write a dot, Shashank. You forgot the dot. I'll share my screen, I'll show you. I go to Chrome, I write let message equals hello, like you did, and then I write msg dot to lowercase, like you did, with a dot, like this. You can see it works. So knowing the syntax is very important. And I see 20 people have joined. We can start, I think. 1 second, let me just see. Alright, let's start. Please take your time when answering these questions. I see you're taking your time. Perfect. And your aim should be getting 90%. So please take your time. I see quite a lot of people getting the first one wrong. Be very careful when you're answering and take your time. You have 45 seconds for each question. And if you haven't covered it in today's class, then it's fine if you get it wrong. but at least for the stuff we've covered, you should try to get it right. Just waiting one more minute. I think we know who won again, but the important part is understanding the concepts. Right, so I think I can end it. I'm ending it in a minute. And Yeah, I think I'll just end it. I'll end it now. Alright, so these were the results, and basically
Recording stopped.
it's pretty great. You guys did pretty well. And one more thing is that there were a couple of people who were repeating the test. That's fine. The important thing is understanding the concepts. It's not about getting a high score. And I just want to discuss these questions with you. I know that their time's up. Just give me 2 minutes. I want to discuss these because some of these are pretty simple. Like the first one, which of the following is not a number type in JavaScript? It's the string one. It has 2 double quotes. This was pretty simple. Next is how do comments look in JavaScript. We didn't cover it, but we can see comments in JavaScript. This should be your first, whenever you see a question, your first instinct should be to Google it. And I know we don't do this in other subjects, but this is how we do it in web development. So you can see it's quite clear. Comments in JavaScript, first links and images. I'm so glad almost all of you got it right. That's perfect. The first instinct for your doubt in web development should be to Google it. Can you change the value of a const? All of you got it right, almost. But even if you don't know this, if you missed my class, like that part, if I do this, I write in JavaScript. Okay, my thing is glitching. In JavaScript, it says it cannot be reassigned. The const cannot be changed. It cannot be mutated, you can see. Anyway, we're continuing on. 92% accuracy is pretty good. How many options can a boolean value have? Just Google that. Answer is 2, true and false. Can variables change their type in JavaScript? The answer is correct, true. Yes, almost all of you got it right, perfect. Which of the following is invalid string? We discussed this a lot in the class. What you can do is, for this one, just be smart. Go to the console, and you can just copy paste these strings. So you'll notice if I copy paste first one, second one, and fourth one, they work, but the third one's not going to work. If I write hello like this, it says invalid, so that's your answer. There you go, simple. And you guys took an average of 7 seconds, you had 45 seconds. So be slow and be patient. You can get a great score by that way. Index of G in VipGear, you can search how to find index of a letter, how to find index in JavaScript, index of, how to use index of in JavaScript, error appropriate in index of. You can see that there's so many examples here. We continue on. Which string method makes text uppercase in JavaScript? First instinct for me is to Google it. .to uppercase method. There you go. Found it. This was very basic. I think some people got confused with the capital and the small. That's fine. What does string method trim do? Almost all of you got it right. It removes all white space. What is the output of hello.index of? Simple. I copy this. I go to my console. I paste it. Answer is 2. Correct answer 2. Only 7 people got it right. This is how you do it. Main thing is knowing how to problem solve, okay? Maximum number of arguments. I take this question. First thing I do, I Google it. It says 2. 1 and 2. How many parameters? Okay, this is Python, but if you search for JavaScript, you're gonna find 2 soon. Sooner or later, you'll find it somewhere. You can spend 15-20 seconds searching. You'll find 2 here. See? 2 is the max. That's the answer. We're almost done with these questions. Only 8 left. Select the output for 100 plus hello. I copy this. Go to my console. Paste it. 100 plus hello gives me 100 hello. String concatenation. This is the answer. Same thing here. Select the output for hello world plus hello. Plus 100, sorry. I go to my console. I see error. See? Unidentified identifier. Unexpected identifier. Which of the following is a temporary literal string? We didn't cover this, so it's fine if you got it wrong. No one got it right. We can just search it though. Template literal string JavaScript. You can see the first link says delimited with a backtick character. And if we go back, we can see that this was the one with the backtick character. All of these were normal strings. Next, what is the output for you bought $ quantity apples if quantity is equal to 5? I'm going to copy this text here. I'm going to Control C. I'm going to go to my console. I'm going to write let qty equal 5. Paste this text, and you can see it says you bought 5 apples. And if you did this, then good, you got it right. And if you just guessed it, then that's fine, but you should also know the way to do it. This is the right way. What is the null variable? You just Google it. Undefined variable, just Google it. Math.power 4,6. I copy this. This is just simple. Paste it here. 4096. That's the answer. Which of the following is a math.random output? So I search math.random. Control C, Control V, math.random JavaScript. It says, first link, greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. A floating point pseudo random number. I click on run. You can see I'm getting this random stuff here. Math.random. So the answer, oh, in fact, one more thing you can do is you can just go to your console, you can type math.random. Look at what I'm getting. You can see all of this floating point between 0 and 1, and it says that 0 is also inclusive. So we go back here. Correct answer was this. 5 people got it right, that's great. What is the output of parse int char24 diamond? We didn't cover this in class, but you can just try, copy, go to the console, paste it, you see NaN, it shows up. We haven't discussed this, but you can always Google what it is. Only one person got it right, congratulations, whoever got that right. And we just search what NaN is in JavaScript. It's a bit complex, so I didn't cover it in class, so that's fine. Anyway, so this was it. Thank you for attending today's class. I hope you understand the process of web development, and don't be afraid to Google for the answer.
Hey, that was great. Congratulations to Arhan, Madhav and Sahana. Did well in the quiz. I think Shantanu and Pawan would agree with me that we have a wonderful class here. They participate so well, isn't it, Shantanu?
Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Yes. Thank you, class. And I think you have got a good pair of instructors too, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope.
Yes, they have. Okay. Thank you, class. This is all for today. Let's meet tomorrow again.
Thank you. And I'll share this quiz again. If you want to improve your score, you can do it. And don't be afraid to learn. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for joining. Bye.